Welcome back. This is part 2 of my Never Stop Dreaming page layout. Let me do some stamping and just kind of show you what this is all about, because this is the hardest one. I mean, stamping the roses and the chrysanthemums, you know, that's very easy to do. Okay, so let me just set this aside for the time being, and let me get out my, maybe I will stamp some flowers just to show you. So I'm going to do the chrysanthemum, so I'm going to stamp it on here, on the yellow. So I've got my clear block, and I put my stamp on, and I've got my Archival black with our new style of ink stamps, which are probably a third again as big as our old stamps. So plus, so crazy easy to use instead of having to pinch and hold your tongue right on our previous stamp pad design. So anyway, let me just do a stamp, and I'll, put it down here in the corner. And you always want to use this little foam. When I first started with Close to My Heart, I threw these things out, not realizing the purpose. So there's a purpose, and that is to get a nice clear stamp. And it allows a better press against your paper. So don't be silly like me and throw them out because you don't know what to do with them. And then fussy cutting, y'all know how to do fussy cutting. I didn't know what fussy cutting meant for a long time. So there's my fussy cut chrysanthemum. Okay, that was fun. Let me do some more. Okay, so here we go. Here's my scrap piece of the stripe and orange. So this is for the rose. So there's my rose, and it's just fun that it has a little bit of the stripes to it to give it some texture and some life and something different to look at. Oh man, I guess I'm just going to go through this whole thing here, and I will take out one of my pieces of paper. But you know what? I didn't bring my paper cutter, so let me go get my paper cutter. I'll be right back. Okay, back again. All right, I'm gonna set my picture way up here, and I will put my original, my copy actually, and take out a piece of the watercolor paper. Okay, so I said that the watercolor paper was 10.5 by 10.5. So there's 10.5. You always want to make sure if you're a beginner at scrapbooking, make sure your paper is up against this raised edge all the way to the end of the paper. I have one of my club members was always talking about how her paper was always crooked, and that was usually the problem, that you really have to press it up against the edge there. So there's that piece. Might as well just go for it here. Okay, so there are different kinds. This is a Fisker's paper cutter, and this is probably the third or fourth Fiskars I've had. I like this one with the bar. It goes right on the edge of where you need to cut, and to cut off the zip strip, and so this has been very accurate for me. There's just a hair, but that's okay. So this one I said was going to be 11 by 11. So I'm going over here to the 11, or if you go over here, you know you're going to be taking 1 inch off of the paper on both sides. So either way, that's what you're going to do. So you're taking 1 inch off and you're at 11 inches. Okay, so there's that. And then this just gets the zip strip off of it. These zip strips are just, they are for, well, making a little border, decorating a bottom of a picture, you know, whatever you want to use it for. So that's, put the little arm up, get it out of the way. So this is what it looks like. So that's how this one's going to lay out. So I'm going to put these aside and get my circle, my 7-inch circle, and just kind of eyeball it in the middle of the paper. Close enough. And like I said, you know, what's perfect? I don't know much that's perfect, and certainly not me. So there's my circle. Just lightly. That's probably actually heavier than I would do. I don't know if you can see that. Come down a little bit. Anyway, it's a very light circle. And, you know, as you can see, these, I'm going to start, you know, laying the flowers out like that. It'll go around like that. But right over here is going to be my title, Never Stop Dreaming. So we can go ahead and kind of put that on there as the starting point for the whole wreath. And I will put that on my longer block. So I can lay the stamp down. I haven't inked it up yet. And then I can just kind of eyeball and get it straight on my block, and then come over and need to make sure that my little cushion thing is under where I'm going to stamp. And so I want to ink up my stamp real good. Ew. And this is what you don't want. Now I'm going to end up with inky fingers. I should have brought a tissue with me. If you look here, you can see that there's smudges of ink. Sorry, I put you on hold for a second to get a tissue. Okay, so I'm going to wipe off the excess ink, because that's one reason why you end up with ink blobs on your paper or lines on your paper that you don't want, is from getting a little too rambunctious in the stamp pad. So I am going to put this right across the circle. Yay, it came out good. Okay, that's a good thing. So that's going to be my starting point. And I'm just kind of move these flowers along so I can kind of figure out what goes where. And so if you look here, the next things after the flower are going to be leaves, like 3 leaves. And so it's this leaf. So I'm going to just ink it up real good. Once again, I'm wiping off any excess that I have on there, because I definitely had some excess ink. And I'm going to move my flower out of the way and just kind of put some leaves at different levels, because the flowers are going to overlap and you don't want everything to look so perfect that it wouldn't appear in nature. So I'll put one there. And then I'll put one like right in here. Woo, there's a big blob on there. So what I'm going to do is that flower will go there, but then the next flower to come up is going to be the rose. And so I'm kind of estimating that's where the rose is going to go. And the next leaves are the little fat leaves that look like rose leaves. Rose leaves are a little fat leaf. Okay, that one looks pretty clean. So I'm going to want to put it like right here. Whoops. And let's see, say down around here. So that's the rose will go there. And then there are some more of the skinny leaves coming out. Okay, so next is the little purple berries. So let me put those on. Now, if you notice, I didn't put my cushion underneath that area. And so here you see dark on the edges and kind of pasty on the outside. So that's why you use that little pad. Anyway, so this is going to come around, and this is going to be the next one. Okay, so like the rose is here, the flower's there, and then comes around and you have like the yellow flower with kind of a rose behind it. Probably like that. And then you have some more of the long leaves here. Okay, so that's basically what we're dealing with here. And like I said, I mean, I'll show you a little bit of the coloring. Let's see. We'll go with the light green. the yellowish green. So what I'm going to do is come up a little bit for one thing. There we go. So I'm going to go with this yellowish green. Get a lot of it, put it over here. Get some more, put it over here. Pick up some more, get a little wet, put it over there. And I want it yellower than that, so I'll add a little bit more water to it. And then I'll come over and, let's see, I want it light, so I'll use this. And let me, now I'm getting green paint on my yellow. So I'm going to mix it up. And I just kind of work it until I need to get some more yellow in there. There's some more coming up. And put it over here. And you can see that this is the color that you're making I'm making is, you know, it's lightening up. It's getting to be, you know, closer to what's in the book. And I can always wash these paints off with water. So, you know, getting them kind of mixed up together is okay. So I've got, so what I'm going to do is just maybe get it even a little bit wetter. Don't want to put tons of paint on there. And just kind of add some color. And add some color over here. And add some color over here. And then I can, you know, even spread out the color some that's already on the leaf. And it helps to lighten what you've got there. And, you know, this is watercolor. You don't have to be perfect with it. So don't even worry about it. It's, and there, that's the effect that I kind of wanted. Well, I'm glad that the ink isn't bleeding because I didn't give it 25 minutes to dry. So I smushed it out a little bit. So what? It's okay. I don't want to do is mess this up. So I'm going to take my strip here and just kind of, well, now I don't know if you can see very well, but that's exactly the look that I'm looking for. I watered the heck out of this little hunk of blue. And I used the first light blue that came on the palette. And so I'm just going to do that. And then I'll put a little bit more on my brush. And this is the fat brush. And just swipe it across there. I love that. Don't know why, but I do. Okay, so I am going to take some time to do some more fussy cutting and start laying some flowers out. Now, I had no intention of doing this whole layout, but you can see that it's how pretty it's going to come out. So I will take a break and then come back. Thanks for watching my video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit my blog at dotscrapbooking.com.